What if every fire starter ended up being firefighting type? Well, we can find out with BromoJumbo's firefighting takeover. Hey everyone, Brandon here. And before we get into the video, I just kind of wanted to start off on a semi-serious note and say thank you all so much for helping this channel hit 100,000 subscribers. That is such an insane number, 100,000. That's an incredible milestone that I did not believe in my life that I would hit. I mean, this time last year, we were at 3K subscribers. That's crazy. I did have a couple things planned for hitting 100K. One of them you've probably already noticed, but the other I can't talk about quite yet, but you will see it soon. And I want to try some new stuff now that we've hit 100K. I want to, make some changes. I'll still do the same old stuff that I've been doing before that helped get this channel to where it is, but I want to experiment, try new forms of content, and see what you guys like. If there's any kinds of content you'd like to see me do, make sure to leave a comment letting me know. I did also want to announce that I am streaming over on Twitch. A lot of people might have missed that. I don't think I ever officially announced it, but I do stream over on Twitch like 4 to 5 days a week. So if that interests you, make sure to go head over there and follow my Twitch. The link will be in the description. And thank you to every single person that hit that subscribe button, like button, left a comment, watched a video, became a member, went over to Twitch and watched a live stream. Any level of contribution that you've given to this channel, thank you so much. And thank you so much for being a part of this community. I hope you all enjoy this next period of the channel's life and watching the way this channel and I grow. I guess you could call this a new era of Pragmagic, so let's get started. Hey everyone, Brandon here. So, fire starters. We have 8. Well, technically 9, but Gen 9 hasn't come out as of the recording of this video. But 6 of the 8 final stages of these fire starters have a secondary typing. 3 of them in particular struck a rather strong chord with the Pokemon community back in the day. So much so, it gave a lot of the Pokemon community PTSD when it comes to the words firefighting. Yes, I am of course referring to the firefighting starter controversy that started in Gen 5 when Emboar became the 3rd consecutive starter in a row to have its final stage be firefighting type. With half of the dual type final stages being firefighting, a lot of people are very resistant to there being one ever again. But, and that's a big but, there is an artist over on Instagram that wishes to break that stigma. To say, hey, firefighting is a cool type combo, and any starter should have it. And that artist is my friend BromoJumbo. Story time. So Bromo is doing a series over on Instagram and Twitter where he gives each US state its own starter Pokemon. We did a shorts video on the Oklahoma starter Pokemon that he did, so make sure to check that out. Anyway, for Texas, he obviously did a Texas Longhorn Pokemon and made it football themed, and so obviously it was firefighting type. Many took issue with this. So in an act of ultimate hilarity and pettiness, he made a contest called the Firefighting Takeover, in which he asked members of the Fakemon community to come together to make firefighting type variants and Fakemon. So in honor of this, he made the rest of the final stages of the fire starters into firefighting types. So I thought it would be fun to discuss them over here on the channel. So let's go ahead and get started with the first starter of this firefighting takeover, and that is Delphox, who has transitioned from a psychic type to now a fighting type, which is funny because psychic type is strong against fighting type. I really love the way that Bromo handled the fighting type for Delphox. Transitioning that wand that it has into more of a flaming bow staff is so epic. I can imagine this thing twirling it around kind of like a fire dancer and just like kicking butt all at the same time while it's spinning this flaming epic staff. Another part of this design that I really enjoy is kind of the incorporation of a shrine maiden into it. You can see it has more of this black hair, and like that also it features as its skirt. And it's more blocky and like structured rather than the kind of flowy fur that we have from the original Delphox. It's very anime. I kind of just imagine that shrine maiden that just kicks a lot of butt. It kind of reminds me of Glass from Shield Hero, if anybody knows what I'm saying there, the fan hero. Another detail I like is the transition from yellow being the focal point of the design to more black and red being the focal point of the design. I really enjoy that. Like, the darker tone really fits the fighting type. Next up, we have the Gen 2 starter Typhlosion, and I absolutely adore this design. I know we just got the Fire Ghost type Hisuian Typhlosion, but there is always more room for Typhlosion love. Honestly, Typhlosion got the short end of the stick in a lot of regards. It was the first pure fire type, and its design was a little bit lacking, and then in Gen 6, they made it even worse by just removing the flames so we got completely screwed over by the 3D model. So I am all here for some more Typhlosion love. As far as the design goes, I really enjoy it. It's kind of giving me a Bancho aesthetic. Kind of Bancho is like kind of like that tough guy, greaser, Japanese greaser. That's kind of like and like the Bancho Digimon, you know, like Bancho Stingmon, Bancho Leomon. If anybody knows what I'm talking about there, I know Digimon on a Pokemon channel, but you know what I'm saying? The like spiky, almost like overcoat it's got going on with the flames, really enhancing that like flame collar that it had in, you know, the first few gens that like before the 3D transition. And then giving it these big searing claws is just so cool. You can see that it has more of a muscular build to, you know, feature that fighting type more prominently. It even has a little pompadour kind of playing into that whole Bancho greaser thing I was talking about. Overall, I think this is a huge enhancement on the design of Typhlosion, and I really enjoy it. Next up, we have the OG. It is Charizard, and it is transitioned from a flying type now down to the fighting type. It is landed, as it were. Props to Bromo for putting fighting type on this mon in particular, because it could enrage a lot of people. A lot of people like Charizard and like its design and don't want it to be messed with, at least in this particular fashion. It kind of reminds me of the Dragon Kung Fu. Like, I'm pretty sure there's like a style called like Southern Dragon Kung Fu, I think it's called. The story of this is that it like gave up its wings, like it evolved to give up its wings, and instead, in favor of like being more mobile, it became more armored, which I think is a fun design story to kind of explain this more like training armor kind of aesthetic it has going on. This is another one where black as the focal point of the design is really cool for me. I really like it. It makes things feel more serious, like a fighting type, you know? If you've made it this far into the video, chances are you like what you're seeing, so make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to support this channel and to keep up to date with future videos. Next up, we've got Incineroar, and a lot of people thought Incineroar was going to be firefighting from the start. I mean, a lot of people saw the leaks or that it was inspired by a wrestler and thought, oh no, we're getting another firefighting type starter. Though it ended up being fire dark type, so there's no worries there, but this is kind of the spiritual successor to that idea of it being that firefighting type. As you know, Incineroar is based on Tiger Mask, a very famous Japanese wrestler, but this is actually based on Hulk Hogan, a very famous WWE wrestler. You can see it with its very iconic blonde mustache there. I really like the idea of transitioning it from more of Japanese wrestling to American wrestling. Also, the focal point of this design is the blonde rather than the black, kind of a inverse of what I liked about Delphox. You know, Delphox had the yellow that turned to black. This has the black that turned to yellow. On top of that, it's kind of more of a traditional tiger, whereas your original Incineroar was black with red stripes. This is red with black stripes. Another couple details I love is that it has the belt on its shoulder, which is kind of like reminiscent of a lot of WWE fighters. They'll put that, you know, champion's belt on their shoulder to kind of show it off. And replacing that belt is its tail, which gives me like Saiyan from Dragon Ball Z. You know, a lot of Saiyans will have that armor and then they'll wrap their tail around their waist, really evoking that fighting type because, you know, Dragon Ball Z, it's all about fighting. Every aspect of this design feels in its right place, and I love that about it. Last but not least, we have Cinderace, which is yet another one where people thought it was going to be firefighting. As you can tell, it struck a particular chord with people. Like I said in the intro, a lot of people thought this was going to be firefighting because of the bandage on Scorbunny's nose. But it turned out to be like Typhlosion, where it was just another pure fire type. Granted, it has Libero, so technically it's a lot of different types, but I digress. This design is so cool. Some of the things that I love about it are these little marks beneath its eyes. It's kind of giving me like war paint or like, you know, or bruises underneath its eyes, like it's been in a few fights. The stance is giving me like Mirko from My Hero Academia, the bunny hero, as well as it's kind of giving me Chun-Li from Street Fighter, as well as Sakura from Street Fighter. It's even giving me Tracer from Overwatch with its hair. And it's like kind of like flaming leg, you know, fiery kicks is giving me Sanji from One Piece with the Diable Jambe. I think I pronounced that right. It sounds better in Japanese. When I say it, it kind of sounds weird. Also, Sagat from Street Fighter. I don't know why I didn't think of that. It has the giant X on the chest, the little scar, and it's got its leg. Sagat's very like got that like leg up, very that style of fighting. I don't know why I didn't think of that at first. But the fact that I can list all of these little things from franchises I love and it's incorporated into this design, or I can at least see it in this design, is a testament to how cool it is. For me, at least. I also love how it managed to keep the kind of like pants that Cinderace has, because It kind of makes sense for the design to have like more human clothes. Anyway, that was every starter Pokemon if it were firefighting type. Thank you so much to BromoJumbo for making this happen and making this contest and just doing it out of the pettiness of your heart, and I just freaking adore that, and I live for it, honestly. Also, thank you to Bromo for letting me feature these designs in this video. It was a real treat to talk about them. I love discussing this kind of stuff. If you liked the video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to support this channel and keep up to date with future videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.